Hey everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Caps on Comics. I'm Kenny Caps, and tonight I'm going to start part one of a three-part series about Golden Age back covers. Alright? So for the next 3 weeks, I'm going to do one at a time. 5 books apiece for a total of 15 Golden Age comic books. And we're going to look at these back covers and we're going to ask, what were they thinking? Alright? Let's get started. Okay, so to begin it off, we're starting with my oldest comic book. This is Pep Comics #1. Okay, and also something else I thought that we would do is that instead of just jumping in and start explaining, given that these comic books are written in one of the most defining moments in American history, at least to Americans today, World War II, what was going on in the world when these comic books were written? Okay, so this comic book, I've discussed it before, and this comic book is notorious for being the first patriotic superhero, right? And that's a big deal because there are documentaries that discuss Captain America, Wonder Woman, and how amazing and patriotic that they were, but it all started here. It really did, okay? So, this is from January of 1940. So what's going on right now, okay? So by now, Germany has taken Poland. England and France, they've declared war on Germany. Food rationing has begun in the United Kingdom. But at this point, France won't be invaded for another 5 months, okay? So we know that. We know that there's war in Europe. But we're still good states, all right? Okay? Let's look at the back, the whole reason for this, okay? So what's on the back? All right, well, it's a disc. It's an ad for a disc. You can get a desk for $1. Yay. What kid doesn't want a desk in their room for $1? Wait. You have to buy a typewriter first. You get a typewriter, then you can get a desk for $1. That's how they get you, right? Okay. Let's keep going. All right. Our next one is Superman #12. This one is from September and October of 1941. Okay? So, all right. Here we go. At this point in the world, in certain parts of German-occupied areas, the Star of David is forced to be worn on Jewish people over the age of 6. That Star of David that says Jew on it. That's going on right now. The siege of Leningrad is going. The Pentagon begins construction, which is a big deal. I'm sure you've heard that. But at this point, Pearl Harbor won't be bombed for like another 3 months. Yet, we have pictures of Superman walking hand in hand with other servicemen, which is pretty interesting, right? When you think of comic books like this, you automatically assume it's the 40s, it's Superman with soldiers, we're supporting the war effort, but we're not really at war just yet, all right? So, the point of this, the back. What's funny about the back? Okay, look at that. All right, that's a Red Ryder BB gun. It's an advertisement for a Red Ryder BB gun. And Red Ryder himself, right here, has promised that you can get a BB gun for your birthday. Wow, isn't that awesome? How awesome is that, right? So, oh wow. Then he goes on to describe that you have to do something. Apparently, he's going to help Bob get one. He's going to explain how Bob got a Red Ryder BB gun. And look, wow, you can get one for free. It's like a reminder kit. You can get a free reminder kit, and you can remind your parents. You can aggravate the crap out of your parents every day and say, "Hey, Dad, did you see that? I wanted a Red Ryder BB gun." And I'm pretty sure this is what the toy, the Christmas story is all about. Is this right here? Anyway, another good one. All right, the next one. It's another one that we've looked at before. Captain Marvel Adventures 11. This is my cheap, super low grade Pedigree. But all right, so this is from May of 1942. All right, so what's happening in the world at this point? So this is 5 months after Pearl Harbor. Okay, so everything has changed. The last American, so at this point, yeah, you have the last Americans and Filipinos. They have surrendered at Corregidor to the Japanese. And so, public opinion in America at this time is pro-war. Like, it's crazy. So, and which totally makes sense. You have on this cover not only Germans, but you have Japanese. So the Allied, the Axis powers are in full swing as the villains. Okay? Now, let's look at the back. Look at that. Okay, that's full-fledged patriotic material right there. Okay? But what this is an ad for Mechanics Illustrated. All right, so it's American on the March. Like, you can now keep up with the war effort. Okay? So this is saying that right here, America has marched into battle. All right, you see that right there? You can pause it if you can't. America has marched into battle. This is the most tremendous battle in history. Now, that's a pretty bold statement at this point in the war to say from Mechanics Illustrated on Fawcett Publications that so far this is the biggest battle in American history. That's a bold statement. I just said that. But it is, because what does that tell us? That tells us that people are already looking at this as a life-altering event. And that's amazing, you know? So to be a kid and to see this with fathers, brothers, uncles joining the war effort, that's scary stuff, but you can keep up with them because these books will tell you everything you need to know about all the equipment. You know, this is also good for spies. You want to know about aircraft carriers and tanks and stuff? Well, just get yourself an American copy of Mechanics Illustrated. Tell you everything you need to know. Okay, so our next one, Green Lantern Comics number 4. All right, we've seen this one before. We've talked about this one before. But what is happening in the summer of 1942? All right, so first off, in June, there is the Battle of Midway. That is a major turning point in the Pacific War. So the Japanese have also invaded the Aleutian Islands. In July, there's the first Battle of El Alamein in Egypt. The Japanese have taken Guadalcanal. And even though this is supposed to be kind of lighthearted, we're talking about comic books, we also have to talk about the bad stuff about World War II. So at this point, Anne Frank is beginning to write in her diary. She and her family have gone into hiding. They're also deporting Jewish people from Warsaw and sending them to Treblinka. It's just a really bleak summer in Europe. And America's going to war. You know, and I love this because Green Lantern's going. So is Doiby Dibbles, you know. Dickles? My bad. I knew I was going to mess that up. It's just, who's Doiby? That's just... But anyways, okay, so what's funny about this comic book? All right, so let's look at the back. And I don't know if you want to think that's funny or if that's just posturing at its best, but this is another ad from Daisy, okay? But this is so how much advertising has changed in just a few months. In 9 months, Daisy BB Guns has gone from advertising with Red Ryder about fighting Native Americans to now you have kids walking alongside Uncle Sam and your father, brother, uncle, okay? It's the Daisy Defender. This is amazing. Like it's posturing. Let's raise future soldiers. And I just want to say, I should have said this in a disclaimer earlier. I am a veteran. I was in the military. I'm an Army veteran. I was in the military during Operation Iraqi Freedom. So I'm not just some person who doesn't agree in war. I know that sometimes there are wars that need to be fought for certain reasons. But I also know as a historian that there is a lot of posturing on the youth of America, and we give them guns and toys and soldiers to play with so that they think about war one day. I understand that. And this was in full force during World War II, because at this point we had no idea what was going to be happening with the war, and so we've got to get the next generation ready to kill Nazis and Japanese. So it's an amazing thing. All right, let's keep going. All right, our last one for tonight, More Fun Comics number 84 from October 1942. All right, so this comic book, what's happening in the war in October 1942, okay? So at this point, American forces have defeated the Japanese at Guadalcanal, all right? Allied forces are still in Africa. They're having fun in the sand at the Second Battle of El Alamein, okay? But look at that. See, the Japanese are really getting it, man. Anyway, again, this is supposed to be about what's funny, what's interesting about the back covers. Let's look, and bam. Ooh, that's a free encyclopedic dictionary. I never really thought about how bad I needed an encyclopedic dictionary. What's interesting is, okay, so this says right here at the top, and I'll pause it so that you can read it later, all right? It says, get this, it's an encyclopedic dictionary, free to examine. What a dictionary. It's like an encyclopedia. So that's cool. It's a dictionary that's like an encyclopedia. Yeah, that's great. Then it says, down like the fifth line down, it's like a shortcut to college. You don't need to go to college. You just get this encyclopedic dictionary. It tells you everything you need to know. Like, okay, so do you know, all right, right here, the 31 mistakes not to make when writing a business letter? No, I don't know that. How to make a will? That's what the internet's for. How to speak effectively in public? I think I got that nailed. How to collect a debt? A baseball bat. How to stop 300 mistakes in English? What 300 mistakes? I think I need this encyclopedic dictionary. How to get along? Go to the bank. How to set up a file system? You just get folders in a cabinet. How to use figures magic fast? I gotta get this book. All right, so that seems like one of those things I just absolutely have to have. I need to get myself a free encyclopedic dictionary. So all I got to do is just take this coupon and send it cash on delivery. We haven't even talked about cash on delivery yet. That's something that I barely remember when I was a kid in the 80s, is that somehow you could pay for something, they would send it to you, and then when you buy something, they send it to you, and then you pay for it. You give the postal worker the money. How god-awful would it have to have been to be a postal worker in the 40s? Anyway, so there we go. That's the last one. All right, well, that wraps up the first episode of this 3-part series of Golden Age back covers. I hope you liked what you saw, and if you did, please comment below, like the video, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next video.
Come on, come